Hi, I'm Mary Director, and I'm an independent Fun Stampers Journey Coach. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about Create a Palette, which is a brand new refillable ink pad that we sell as of 1 July 2017. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I do have a blog. It's called KreatesKardsJourney.blogspot.com. I'm also a Fun Stampers Journey Coach, and I have a business website, which is funstampersjourney.com/Mary Director. I'm also on Facebook, which is facebook.com KreatesKards Journey, and I will bring this back at the end of the video. It's also in the comments section on YouTube, where you can do a direct link to these items from my YouTube webpage. This is one of the cards I created using the Create a Palette, and the flowers you see here were done with the Create a Palette. When you buy the Create a Palette, it comes with just white foam rectangles, and you can either use your re-inkers or your liquid colors. Do not mix these two though. Whatever you decide to do, whether it's re-inkers or the liquid colors, be sure that your complete palette is that type of ink. So you don't want to do one of a re-inker and 4 of the liquid colors or mix and match. It's all one style for all 5 rectangles that you're going to do. I've already re-inked these. I've already inked these, but let me show you. All you have to do, shake your re-inker a little bit, and then you just literally, let me see if I can see it. I'm just going to go over this, and I'm going to gently squeeze. And this one has ink on it, so it's not going to absorb really quickly. But you'll see the ink start to absorb into the pad, and once, like it is now, where it's not absorbing the fluid as quickly, we know that I know then that I have enough ink. What I've used on this is I've used Blue Lagoon, Huckleberry Fusion, Kiwi Slice, Sweet Berry, and Summer Days. And again, these are all re-inkers from Fun Stampers Journey. The stamp that I'm using is called Sweet Poppy. It's AT-0266. And I've gone ahead and I've mounted it on an acrylic block. And I'm just going to use our regular cardstock. You could use any color that you want. When you go to, one tip I should give when you ink this, try not to get on the edge. As you can see, some of the Sweet Berry has gone into the Summer Days. This isn't so much of how it was inked, because as when you stamp, when you start using your stamp, you are going to bring a little bit of the ink over into the next rectangle. So there will be some blending of colors. I think it's really great, but you don't want to intentionally do it where you're getting, you know, the re-inker right up to the edge, because then it will bleed together. This just gives a little bit of bleeding from using the stamp, rather than it immersing the such a vast amount of color into it. So we just want to be careful with that. So when I go to stamp, this one I'm going to try to pick up more of the yellow, the Sweet Berry, the Kiwi Slice. And I'm going to start, and I'm just going to stamp, and I'm going back and forth, applying pressure, making sure that this is completely inked up. Then coming here, pressing down. And this is rather light, but it's still got a good, I still like the coverage. And depending on how hard you press and how much you ink will, make the difference in how deep the color will be. And then if it is a little lighter, you can always go back in and add a little more ink to your palette here. This stamp, because it has so many fine lines, it is going to have a little bit of staining to it, so don't let that be a concern. I know some people like to have their stamps, ink, stain free. With this type of stamp, because of all these fine lines, you are going to get some staining on this. Okay, now this one I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick up the deeper colors. Doing the same thing, I'm going to start at the top of the stamp. I'm moving it back and forth, picking up as much ink as I can. This time I'm going to press a little firmer, and then when I go to press it here, I'm going to apply even more pressure and see the difference. A little deeper here, even the greens, you can see the difference in the green and the blue, and it's because I added a little more ink to the stamp before I put it here, and also that I applied more pressure when I went to stamp the image. Set that aside. I'm going to cover this up. Again, I always try to clean my stamps right away. It's just a personal preference. And I'm using our True Color Fusion Cleaner, and this is actually a car chamois. You can buy them at any automotive store. You want a cloth that's lint-free, and this works really well. And I just go ahead and I spritz a little bit of the cleaner on the chamois, and it's just a little piece, as you can see. This will last for ages. And then at the end of each day I go in and I just rinse this out with some water and wring it out really well, and then I put it into a locking container so it stays moist. So as you can see, I did some other flowers. What I did with these, after I stamped them, I fussy cut them, and I also had done some leaves so that you can see some of the leaves here. On this card, I used a sweet berry as the card base, kiwi slice for the petals here, and this, the leaves you're seeing are the Bloom Cluster die, which is DI-0163. And then I went in and I also added in some paper punch butterflies, and this is called Flutterby Paper Punch TO-0008, and it actually punches out 3 different sizes of butterflies. I went in and I bent up the butterfly wings just a little bit, and I attached them with glue dots. The flowers, after I attached them to the card, I went ahead and I put on some of our Journey glaze, putting little lines of it across the petals and then filling in the center of the flower. Now I could have put a button in, I could have added our sparkle dust here, but I just like the look, and you can see the shine. The butterflies were cut out with our gold mirror and our silver mirror cardstock, and I alternated the colors, silver, gold, silver, gold, silver, gold, and this one's the silver, gold, silver, just to add a little bit of an accent. Now let me show you, you know how much I love doing backdrops or backgrounds. So let me show you one other trick you can do, or one other technique you can do with this Create a palette. I made these beautiful stained glass backgrounds using the Create a palette. Let me show you here. Here's another one. I love the color. I love the design to it. Each one's uniquely different. And I'm going to use these as backgrounds. I can, I could see putting like a summer days accent to it, doing something like this. Maybe adding in a few butterflies, Or what I could do is put a butterfly over here and then take the flower and put the flower there. Just a lot of ideas, but let me show you how you can create this type of background yourself. All we're going to do is take a piece of our whipped cream cardstock. I'm going to take the Create a palette and I'm going to use a circular motion. So I'm going to go in the corner here and pull this across. So I'm going to set this down and pull it across. I'm going to turn this. I'm going to come here again, pull it across. And the more pressure I apply, the more filled in you'll get. I like a little bit of the white coming through. Okay, this one I want to make sure we get a little more of that summer days, so I'm going to start it up a little higher. Oh, I like that. That turned out really good. Okay, and then if I wanted, I could turn it and then I could come back in with the yellow here. So if there's somewhere that you wanted to add a little more color, just reverse your palette and you can do that. Now when you do overlay like this, you may get a little bit of color mixing in, just so you're aware. But there's another background. And let me show you one more time. Again, it's just a matter of taking the palette, deciding which you want to be the most prominent color. So this time I'll use the Summer Days. I'm going to come to the bottom and come across. Same with this side. And each one is going to be uniquely different. You're not going to have any two backgrounds alike. And then if I want, I can bring the blue here and come in with the blue. And see how it creates new colors that way. So this is a great way to make some backgrounds. You could use a stencil on this. You could use a die, paper punches, anything you wanted. We have some dies that are like an overlay of an A2 that does some framing. You could do this and make this look like it's stained glass in the background. So this is just some ideas for you using this Create a palette. One tip I will tell you, I used a Sharpie to write in the colors of the inks I had used. And in doing so, I didn't realize that this was some type of high gloss coating in here, or I didn't pay attention. And so this totally smeared. So just what I would do is don't write on the inside of your lid what your colors are, because it's not going to stay even with a Sharpie. So what I've done is I just have a little notepad, little note put on the top, and then I've marked this re-ink top so that I know this is the top of the the colors for me, and marked it that way so that I've got it. So thank you so much for watching my video tonight. I hope it gave you some great information. If you'd like to place an order, my website is funstampersjourney.com/MaryDirector.